There was a time, not too long ago, when neurosurgery in India meant a proposition out of reach to the common man. To medics, it meant an esoteric zone with several areas still to be explored and mastered. By the turn of the century, India could boast of one of the most sophisticated and comprehensive facilities in neurosciences that opened the doors of neurological treatment to the common man. At the head of this long persistent mission was the name Dr. Prakash Tandan, Professor Emeritus, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. Son of Srimati Saraswati Devi and Dr. R.N. Tandan, Dr. Prakash Tandan completed his schooling in Delhi. He joined the KG Medical College, Lucknow, where he pursued thoracic surgery.
In 1954, a team was invited from Norway to come and start chest surgery for tuberculosis patients in the Silver Jubilee TB Hospital in Delhi. I was then working in Irvine Hospital, from where I was requested to go and join that team as their assistant. During the 1 year that I worked with Dr. Volodowski, we developed a very affectionate relationship. After finishing my FRCS in London, Dr. Volodowski invited me to join him in Oslo. When I arrived in Oslo, he said, instead of continuing chest surgery, I should take up neurosurgery, because the neurosurgeon in the hospital there, Professor Christiansen, was not only an outstanding neurosurgeon, but according to Dr. Volodowski, a very unique human being. The only thing I was told was by Dr. Christiansen, come and join my department tomorrow morning. I was very scared. I had no idea of neurosurgery. I asked him, you do not know me. I do not know whether I am capable of becoming a neurosurgeon, and yet you are asking me to join your department tomorrow. He said, if Volo says that you are good, then you are good.
By now, neurology had without doubt become Dr. Tandan's chosen mission.
Right from the beginning, he was always interested in the basics. Even when he's a teacher, he would like to explain to us how it has happened. It's basic. What is the physiology? What is the mechanism by which it's happened? And then goes into the depth, if this fact is not known, how should we try and know the fact?
So after working for 2 years in Oslo in Dr. Christiansen's department, I moved to Montreal, where I worked for 2 more years, and that was a very good decision, because there I was exposed to the very top in the world.
From Oslo to Montreal and then back to India, Dr. Tandan joined his alma mater, KG Medical College, as faculty.
My next ambition was not only just to become a professional surgeon, but to be a surgeon in an academic environment. And my whole career planning by me was guided to that.
Around the same time, Dr. Tandan proposed to the lady he had admired for many long years, herself a brilliant product of KG Medical. She was also the first postgraduate in obstetrics and gynecology from Lucknow University.
There was no sort of dating or anything.
No real romancing in that sense of the word.
In 1965, he joined the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the most happening nucleus of the medical field, even in its early years.
So I thought, if I come here, we'll be able to develop something on the lines of what exists elsewhere, for example in Montreal or in Oslo. So surprisingly, much to my pleasure and much to the concern of my wife, I was selected, not realizing that this will lead her to sacrifice her very brilliant career.
The crippling infrastructural constraints at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences didn't stop Dr. Tandan from successfully operating upon several patients with cranial and spinal tumors. Dr. Tandan has steered the establishment of several facilities like the Neuroinformatics Center, Neural Transplant Unit, a brain bank and the National Brain Research Center. Thousands of people have since returned with a new lease of life from these corridors.
One thing about Professor Tandan is that he takes personal interest in all of NBRC. He takes personal interest in all our individual projects, pays attention to them, and encourages us constantly.
One of the first things that struck me on meeting Professor Tandan was his tireless enthusiasm and his quest for knowledge. And there are very few people I've met who have such a breadth of knowledge in both the clinical sciences as well as the basic sciences.
His reputation as a scientist, of course, precedes him, and we all look forward to him for inspiration and hope. And I think his greatness as a human being showed today when I congratulated him and said, "Sir, we are all basking in reflected glory." And his only comment was, "I hope you will rise much higher than this."
In the shirt of a family man, Dr. Tandan follows an unassuming lifestyle.
Habits are very simple, doesn't demand too much.
You see, my only hobby, I must confess, is reading.
Small eater, likes to have the set breakfast and the set meals.
Having been brought up in the era of Sagals and company, I still enjoy their music more than the music of the present day great musicians. As far as sports are concerned, I'm afraid I'm probably the worst sportsman ever born. During my school days, I went to the football field for 5 years regularly, but football kicked me more often than I kicked the football.
My father-in-law was my teacher before he became my father-in-law. I'm also an Amazonian, studied my MBBS and MD from AIMS. So he used to teach us in neurosurgery, lectures on head injury. So I remember him as being an excellent teacher. Then I've seen him in the role of a father-in-law. He has always been supportive. We can always take his advice on any matter which is concerning us.
At 75, the grand old man of neurosciences personifies compassion, intelligence, and simplicity. And it shows when he ruefully thinks of the compromise his wife had to make for the sake of his career.
If I realized it at that time, I probably wouldn't have done it.
To him and his legendary contribution to medical science, we owe the health of thousands of our fellow beings.